Towers is Liquid's go-to map. So after Dragon Shire that we just saw. So now Liquid brings them to Sky Temple, and Sky Temple was only played once by Team Liquid, and they lost. So they haven't won on the map yet, but they feel confident that they can take Tricked down on this one. But it's a really interesting dynamic that we have around map picks and bans at this point.
Okay, well, speaking about map picks and bans, they're banned out for Tricked Esports, staying with their normal ban. They seem to really despise the slug. Greymane banned out, leaving both Genji and Hanzo up.
That's the variation that we talked about in the last draft, where there was an opportunity for the teams to just say, you know what? You can pick Genji or Hanzo, we pick the other one, and therefore on the ban now. And insta-locks on Tyrael and Genji.
Oh my gosh, this confident Team Liquid is scary. The insta-lock of Genji and Tyrael.
To be honest, that was a fairly easy one.
Sure, but
I still love it.
Yeah.
But it was basically, we're playing on Sky. Tyrael got a buff. He's really strong, and this is one of his best maps. So you know what? We're going to definitely lock Tyrael, and then we're going to lock either Hanzo or Genji, whatever they leave us. Yeah. So right now, Tyrael, Genji immediately. Tricked is saying, we have Hanzo already. Uther it is on the off lane. We're going to run it with, again, Alex is one-tracking a little bit. We're going to run it with Blaze, who has lost twice. Tricked came in with a 3-0 on Blaze. Now they lost twice. And at this point, Team Liquid has to think about banning Tassadar, right? With Hanzo Uther already chosen. It has to at least cross their mind.
Tassadar, Li Ming. We've seen the Li Ming picked up by Esport in the past. Are they scared of the Tassadar, or they've got enough practice to be able to shut it down? They do have Genji, who is a major threat to a Tassadar. The ability to sweep strike in right away and then drop down the shurikens is deadly.
You know who I missed today?
Who?
Gul'dan.
Yeah?
Not only this series, the previous one as well. We had no Gul'dan picked, we had no Gul'dan played. The maps didn't cater to him as much as they oftentimes do, where we have, let's say,
Tomb of Spider Queen.
Tomb of Spider Queen on Fertile Shrine, since it's banned. But it's still pretty interesting that we have 0 Gul'dan at this point.
I think it really does come to the battlegrounds. Think about it. You mean, BOE, Towers of Doom, maybe a possibility you can get up there, but still a little iffy. Same thing for this one, BOE and Dragon Shire. Both lanes where Dragon Shire, you can see him there, but looks like he's going to fall out for a little bit. We'll definitely see him this weekend, though. He's just too powerful, it feels like.
Yeah, he definitely is. He is still extremely powerful in these sets. This is a map where we could actually see him.
Well, Anubrak banned out. Tricked Esports thinking about what they want to get rid of themselves. Do they want to get rid of a possible healer? They are thinking about the Dahaka, the global factor that was important for Team Liquid, controlling Dragon Shire and great on Sky Temple.
Yeah, it would definitely be a pick that I would be happy with. If they get rid of Dahaka, that's a great one. First of all, Liquid really loves to play Dahaka. They showed that several times. You could have thought I feel about Arthur's maybe, but I'm still a lot more happy with Dahaka.
Yep, Dahaka now gone. Team Liquid thinking about picking up their 3rd and 4th. Double tank, right? When you're running Tyrael?
So, yeah.
Yeah, all the way. So we're going to get the ETC, and we have ETC back. And guess who is now here, Caldor? You were asking about him.
Yeah.
Gul'dan.
I missed him. Gul'dan comes in, all right. Dropping not only corruption, but also some dank memes here.
That's what we love here at HGC.
And I mean, for this particular setup, when we're talking about Dahaka again, like, I love that he's banned. Dahaka currently is super interesting for Liquid in particular, because they have currently a 4-1 record with Dahaka. They're really doing well with him. The only other team in Europe that excels more playing Dahaka is Dignitas.
Yeah.
They have a 4-0 on him. They haven't lost with him yet. But outside of that, it's really Team Liquid that is running the Dahaka show. Zealots have played him a lot, and they're also looking strong with him. I mean, looking at Europe in general, Dahaka is sitting at 12 wins and 10 losses. So he's still at 55%, which is fairly good for an offlaner. But we have a few teams that excel with him, and Team Liquid is one of them.
A stable pickup for sure. Murden and Li Ming coming in for Tricked Esports. So we're going to have the control around the boss, going to have the wave of force. Murden to force the engages. Seem to be pairing really well with this Blaze. And the final pickup for Team Liquid is Rehgar.
Rehgar for the final pick. Yeah. I was wondering for a moment if I would maybe have been a little bit more happy with them going into Malfurion. I still think you could have played Malfurion, especially since you run ETC and you have Gul'dan, so you can get a lot of lockdown that allows Gul'dan to get great combos off, and you can just like slide in with ETC and have then roots on the ground. I feel both of them would have worked, but with Genji being there, trying to go deep, they're having the panic button with the Ancestral, that definitely works out for them. So yeah, I like the setup for them. Both of the teams have a really cool setup here that they can run. And Muradin also back. This is a very similar draft that Trick uses to the first map where they ran it. A couple, like 3 of the heroes are the same. Those heroes were undefeated up to that game against Team Liquid. So they're falling back on comfort heroes for a lot of their players.
For me, I actually really enjoy Trick's composition for when it comes down to the tempo phase. They have a lot of brawling potential. They lost sustain as well, so they should be safe in that regard. But the boss is the big wild card for me, and that's where I look at Team Liquid, who has the setup to grab those. So let's go ahead and get ready for game number 3 and see how it all pans out.
Come on, Josh, zoom a little bit faster.
I was probably a little bit quick there. I'll take that blame, Josh. You take most of the meetings.
The game number 3 is starting up here on Sky Temple, and Liquid is in a 2-0 lead. Super close games, but Trick needs to win it or they will lose the series. To the left, Crosby on Hanzo, Mako on Liming, Alex the Progi on Blaze, Remaball on Muradin, and Garan Paquete on Uther.
On the right side, in the red, Splendor playing Rhaegar, Hasuwabs on Gul'dan, Eternal playing Tyrael, Nurok playing Genji, and Sport Billy back on ETC. Time to rock.
Now, a few things to consider here is that with Hanzo in this setup, Genji is, of course, going to try and pressure him. And that is where Muradin and Uther are coming into play. Those are the two that if Genji at any point gets a little bit too confident and starts to go in deep, they need to be present with a stun so that they can start punishing Nurok.
We'll watch for that as Hasuwabs will work on clearing out waves, doing the Gul'dan thing, with ETC making sure to anchor him. Watch Sport Billy and his movement. Controlling bushes is very important when you're running an ETC, making sure to get vision on your opponents. Rimmer bringing the fight, though, to Team Liquid, chasing down Eternal.
Yeah. I also hope that Nurok changed his style combo up a little bit, because recently, for the last 5 or 6 games in scrims, he has been running the Raptor as a mount for Genji, and I mean, that is just a crime and nothing else, so I hope that changed. Tyrael has finally fallen, regardless of the nice attempt to keep him alive earlier. The Ming confirming the kill at the top, so Trick getting a bit aggressive, and yeah, Nurok, my boy, going back to the money pick. Now we're talking, okay. That's a lot better.
You're so biased towards the money pick, man. I understand Bacon.
No. Okay, wait a second. The money pick gives him extra points, but I was just completely against the Raptor. The Raptor for Genji is just wrong. He's wrong for most heroes, but on Genji, it's just a crime.
How? It's a cyber ninja on a Velociraptor.
A Velociraptor that runs weird like a kangaroo. It's like, what?
It's a deadly kangaroo. It has way more teeth.
What are you talking about?
Have you seen
disgusting.
A kangaroo?
It's a horrible comp.
I feel like you have not seen a kangaroo. Those things are buff, man.
Yeah, the guy who spent a year in Australia hasn't seen a kangaroo.
All right, Calder, you're just too tough. You're just too tough, man.
The Raptor and Genji is just a no-go. We can make a poll. I'm sure, like, I'm going to win that, like, easy.
All right. We'll make a poll. Tweet us at HGC. Let us know if you think the Raptor is okay for Genji. Personally, I think it's fine, man. A cyber ninja on a Raptor.
Hashtag HGC as we're coming back into this game. Let us know. Genji on the Raptor, yay or nay? All we need to know here.
All right, Genji on surfboard. How about that? Last one before we go back to the game.
Yeah, of course. It's
okay. All right.
No problem.
That one's cool. All right, 4-4 for our team. So far, defending pretty well. A nice control so far. Only 1 kill going over to Trick Esports. It's all about the setup for the Merc camps now. And Trick will try to answer back on the bottom, while Team Liquid is already priming for the top side. They want to be able to handle the Night Camp coming their way, which is becoming a little bit more of a standard play. Once your opponent grabs the Night Camp, wait about 10 seconds, grab your own, and have it set up for defense with the turrets and the forts. Yeah,
and since there are no turrets left, they can take it even later, just so that it's in range of the fort itself. So that actually works out for them. The big ace in the hole for Team Liquid is really Tyrael with the Sanctification for boss fights later on. And of course, Gul'dan with a Horrify. They have so much boss control. This is really what I'm afraid of the most when I'm looking at how Trick is going to do in this game. That the boss control in the mid and late game for Team Liquid is stellar. Holy Ground, Sanctification, Horrify. Just corruption alone, the damage that you can put on the spot when everybody starts to storm in. So that's really something where I look at this and I'm just like, well, this could be rough. If you have Li Ming and you have the Wave of Force, you have some displacement tools, you have also the potential bunker play on the side of Blaze from Alex again. But Liquid, I feel, just has the better tools when it comes to the control around it.
Yeah, and on top of that, you have Dragon Blade the entire time, slashing people while Sank is going down. Very difficult for Trick Esport to deal with.
Is there a chance that we see Divine Storm over Divine Shield?
Divine Storm over Divine Shield? Muradin moving in. I mean, it's good against Genji.
Yeah.
That's the one moment where you can make it work. The issue with Uther moving into a Gul'dan, trying to get that stun, is you risk the idea of a Horrify coming out and pushing you into the team.
I think it would give them a little bit more control over the boss area, and it would be good against Genji, but it's still a risk to run it here. The temples are so far pretty much exchanged. Right now, Trick is doing a great job controlling them. They get the kill against Gul'dan too, and Mirama jumps in again. He wants to stumble, and he gets it. Is the follow-up enough to drop him? Not quite.
Shield's coming up for the Thermal.
But good effort by Trick.
Yeah. Going for the chase. They get the temple. They do have to deal with the push that was on the top coming in from Team Liquid.
And there's also shots remaining on the top temple.
Trick is in a great spot here. Able to grab the temple, can move in for the top. They've broken down a fort already. They have map control.
Yeah, look at the structural advantage that they have at this point. Taking the fort down at the top is huge. Now getting even more shots. They're a little bit cautious because they don't know where the rest is. Blaze moves out pretty fast. Alex needs to be careful here. Gets stunned once, going to be pushed back soon. Alex is just buying time. He's just saying, I'm going to die. I'm going to move to the right. You do your thing and get us a few more shots. And he actually has a fair amount of self-sustain here, but eventually, of course, he's falling. But it allowed Rema to get all the remaining shots at the top.
And
great effort.
Still has his jump. Gets away.
Li Ming is going to take the fort in the mid lane now. It's so close, so Li Ming is going to try and move in with the combo.
I do really like this pressure from Trick.
I'm impressed by how aggressive they are again. But, I mean, let's face it. If you think about the last few games that we saw, the early game wasn't really their problem.
Yeah, it's a rinse and repeat.
The early and the mid game, they were always looking good. And then in the late game, it was where Team Liquid's decision-making and their coordination got the better of them. And that's why this control that they have around the boss area scares me so much.
Are we in a stage dive game?
I thought about it, and I honestly don't know. I feel you can run both here. You have to adapt your playstyle a bit. I love this, by the way. Getting the 10 and saying, guys, we need to snowball this. So immediately making the boss move. Liquid knows it, but they can't do anything about it until they have their own 10, and ETC is not going to get it in time. So now the boss is taken. It's an early boss, 6-minute boss. It's not going to win the game here, but it's going to give them a lead.
And it takes away from Team Liquid, too.
Yeah.
It's going to be stage dive. So we're going to have ETC sitting in the top with the Echo Pedal, constantly pushing in, working on getting that fort. The idea being very similar to what we saw with the Haka last time, but this time we get a major engage available for ETC. And Tyrael will become the main frontliner for Team Liquid while the bottom boss gets defended. Arrow comes out. It lands on Nurok. Okay.
Yeah, there was no follow-up here. They're trying to move in from behind. With Arrow, that would even be better. They want to go for Azops. And they go for him. Cleanse is already out. ETC comes in with a stage dive. Here's the bunker in a great position. Horrify is being used by Gul'dan. Alex moving out again. The boss already moving through the fort. So they can easily retreat here if they wanted to. That was a scary moment for Gul'dan here. Good Horrify by Hazu, and also nice engage from ETC. No kills at this point, but definitely tons of aggression this time.
And a great cleanse from Rhaegar, too, to make sure that he can escape and get that Horrify.
Oh, yeah.
Almost stunned and locked down. Team Liquid able to disengage, but they do burn some major heroics to do so, which allows Trick to grab the bottom temple. And they're starting to hit some keeps here as all 3 Tier 1 defenses for Team Liquid are gone.
Yeah, their advantage is definitely a serious one when it comes to the structural position on the map. But again, Liquid is strong at the late game. That's where they currently excel. They showed it against Zealous. They showed it in the last 2 games against Trick. And now once again, we have that team fight. This early on, they're focusing on Rhaegar right now. Shields are coming out. Tyrael is getting good use of his new level 1 talent. Really helping them out here with extra shields. The arrow hitting hard. But the cleanse is out immediately. Li Ming firing from the backline. Sanctification on the ground. Bunker used by Alex as a counter. And they once again go for Genji, and this time he's down. Genji eliminated as Trick Esports is starting to chase.
Nox Prodigy with a headbutt, landing straight into Genji, getting him locked down for 18 seconds. Remember, there's still shots in the temple available for Trick Esports to move in and grab. They're going to go ahead and soak the middle lane as well, get level 13. Team Liquid in a commanding... Oh, no, it's not Team Liquid. Trick Esport in a commanding lead.
Team Liquid at a commanding disadvantage.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, wait, that's too hard. I have to just fix this.
I mean, Tricked... I feel if you're Tricked at this point, you really just need to say, okay, guys, let's make sure that this time we're carrying the advantage in the late game. And to be honest, this map caters to that quite nicely. If you are this far ahead in structures, it really matters. Oh,
another pick.
Li Ming, look at them. They are going in. Make with another kill. 4 kills against 1. Way more aggressive than in the previous games.
I like that they're just not stopping the aggression. They know they need to keep pushing it until 13 hits for Team Liquid, when we'll have Tyrael finally get that holy ground and start to control the fights. Until then, Blaze is king.
Yeah.
He controls that front line.
13. And Liquid eventually is going to make that play for boss, I feel. But right now, massive pressure at the top lane, get the structures low, try to get some damage in, play around that. I mean, Hazorps overall on Gul'dan has so far played a fantastic year. We have them playing Gul'dan 5 times, and Hazorps was able to win 4 of those games for his team, so he has a 4-1 record on Gul'dan. But in this game, they're under so much pressure. Mako, of course, also excelling on the other side on his mage plays. We talked about it earlier. They were 3-0 on Li Ming up to that game on Battlefield of Eternity, where Mako suffered his first loss on Li Ming. But now we are seeing, again, rotations here, aggressive from Tricked as they're trying to invade camps. They still have an edge with level 13 talents being ready, so they don't care if Liquid wants to fight. They're happy to do it. They're saying, if you want to fight any day, as long as we have the talent advantage, come at us.
Anytime, anywhere. 13 friendly hits for Team Liquid, and Tricked is back in a safe location. Move up, they're going to grab their Knights, get that pushing in. There will be 2 temples available. This should favor Team Liquid slightly if they're able to set up their ETC on one of those temples and then stage dive where they need to be. Tricked needs to decide where they want to go and then control that point.
This camp is now perfect because Tricked, the important part about what Tricked did earlier when they stole the camp away from Team Liquid is they set this play up. There's no counter where Liquid could simply take their own Knight camp and the 2 negate each other on the top lane or need to be de-pushed. So right now that's a massive advantage. Here comes the arrow. This one doesn't hit anything. Yeah, it's a good cleanse on Rama, but he's still in trouble. He still needs to be careful, but he has Avatar. Uses it. Oh, Sport really survives. Sanct and Ancestral are being used to keep him alive, but they are able to keep him in the game here. And now we have Tricked moving slowly away from the spot. A lot of resources have been traded here. And especially Avatar being burned is, of course, a big one, but Sanctification is also out.
I really feel like Tricked Esport wins out that trade, though. The Divine Shield being saved, many heroics being utilized. There is a Dragon Blade up and available if Team Liquid wants to force a fight, and they're going to want to before 16 connects. Yeah,
here's the boss now as well, so you need to be careful. If you lose a fight now, your opponent could go for boss. But the top lane is still pushing. This is the camp that we mentioned a bit earlier. Because Tricked took the opponent's camp away, Liquid couldn't set up their own. So now this one is continuously pressuring the top lane. And if Liquid decides to stay at the bottom of the map, they will eventually also lose out on top structure hit points.
Sport Billy, engaged upon by Alex the Prodigy. Jets on in. Still no 16 yet for Tricked Esport. That top lane that you continue to talk about is constantly still pushing. One keep goes down. Dragon Arrow out. Sport Blade power side then misses. Hostile up on the side. 10 more seconds for a Horrify.
Nice heal on the market as Genji went in. Sport Billy doesn't hit anything. Sport Billy's in trouble. He has no mana. He's trying to move away here, and Eternal helps him out with a Holy Ground, but the top is pushing, as we said before, and Liquid is starting to lose ground. Sport Billy is already low in mana and in hit points. He needs to go back, so he will be able to defend, but it also means that they are giving up the bottom temple, and they have 16. Tricked has 16 now.
Tricked has 16. And they also are getting damage on that top camp. It's still not being dealt with here. I feel like ETC should peel back and deal with it. The problem is he doesn't have stage dive available, so they have to dance around the idea of a boss being grabbed. Eternal was on the side, ready to scout out that boss and did get grabbed. Holy Ground will save him for now. Ancestral Healing does come out, but Nurok not able to get too much done as Tricked Esports get the Ancestral.
Again, that's big. Ancestral being used here, already thrown out. They are trying to make a play for boss. I feel they want to force a fight more than anything else. I feel you still are in a situation. If you go for boss here, I think you want to bait a fight, because with Sanctification Holy Ground around, it's just so risky. But forcing a fight would be the dream at this moment.
Starting around of time, though. With Stage Dive up and available in 4 seconds, finally ETC can peel off and work on getting 16. Giant stolen once again here. Tricked continuing to keep up momentum.
Yeah, Team Liquid needs to make sure that they don't get caught here. They need to be outside the range of a Meridian Jump Stormbolt combo. If they don't do that, then they are going to be in a rough spot when it happens, because they somehow need to defend the target. But there's already, nice, a bit of a play with Hanzo on the boss, and the rest, Blaze and Murden, are pushing them away. But now here comes the rotation. Eternal is on the way, and they see it. Bottom lane is being pushed. ETC's at the top. Stage dives in, and here comes the Divine Shield on Grand Paquette. Has to use it early. They're going for it. This is a weird one. Liquid has 16. This is the chance of Liquid to turn it around once again.
Gonna have the Eternal going in. And there is it. Drops Sanctification. The boss is stolen. Dragon Blade going off. Rimmer's getting lower on health. He will have to pop the Avatar. The backline Li Ming gets knocked up by the boss, and she will fall. Crosby trying to kite backwards. Rimmer getting lower and lower. Eternal will have a Holy Ground. Can he get the Uther to slow it a bit too much?
Tricked is losing the boss, and the boss kills Li Ming.
Do you feel like history is repeating itself right now?
I think it was a pretty dumb play. I mean, I'm going to be blunt here, but that was not really smart. You have the edge, you have the talent lead, there's a top tempo up. Why risk it against Tyrael? Pressure against Team Liquid's core, they lost already 10%, it's defended. They're not going to lose it. Tricked is not going to lose at this point. But this is going to hurt. Why risk that play? You see the rotation. You know Tyrael has Holy Ground, he has Sanctification up, ETC has Stage Dive. They could have made a smarter play here. Tricked is doing so well in Game 1, Game 2, all the way in the early and mid game. And then they make some questionable decisions where they start falling behind. They still haven't lost this by a long shot, they're still way ahead. But there was no reason to give Liquid that opportunity.
But Team Liquid can now tie up the experience here. They have the Temple still at the top, and they have a fort they can start to siege upon. They'll have Giants pushing in as well to help counteract the catapults that are already coming in.
I mean, Tricked's idea was to have Blaze and Muradin in a position where they push into the middle and they cut off rotation potential so that Liquid cannot make the play for boss. But then Liquid, I mean, they know. They only see 2 heroes. Hanzo is missing. What's Hanzo known for? Pretty decent against camps overall. You have Li Ming in that combo. So right now, they just make sure that they are keeping tabs on it. And now they're back in the game. And that's something that Tricked could have avoided. So now they're having to fight. It's again even talents, but if they get a kill against one of these boys up here, then of course it's all going to turn in their favor once again.
Another fight, a clash between Night Camp. Sausage goes in. He does get on Hasselwab. Hasselwab is still living though. Kiting backwards. Nicely done here. Eternal will move forward, but with a bunker. Popping in. He's going to be body blocked. Rimmer trying to move in for a Stormbolt with Trick Esports being nice and healthy. Looks like they'll be able to kite backwards and start to grab more shots. Yeah,
Rimmer is all the way up at the front the entire time, full in the face of Team Liquid, trying to pressure them back, doing a good job with it. You know, one of the biggest problems by losing the boss on the bot lane wasn't even losing the boss. It was you lost all the pressure that you got by killing the keep. It's all gone because the boss and the push pushed the wave, the entire lane out and towards the left side, towards the keep of Tricked Esports. So now Tricked still has catapults amassing at the bot lane, but it's taking ages for them to arrive on the right side, which means that Liquid has a massive amount of time to just play a normal game. Whereas if that hadn't happened, they would be in a situation where there was constant pressure at the bot lane that forced Team Liquid all the time to rotate someone back down.
ETC can defend that too at any point. And Gul'dan comes down, they'll be able to clear it up. We have Tyrael and ETC watching for the flank that could be coming in as Hanzo and crew are missing out. Grabbing the watchtower. We'll have one temple spawning next. It'll be to the northern side, which is good for Tricked Esports.
Yes.
At least that catapult pressure will help out. But again, ETC can negate that.
Not only that, the top keep is really low. If they get the temple, they will take the second keep down. So then they have on both outer lanes catapults pushing. So this is a dream for Tricked. I mean, in an ideal world from their perspective, they also would hit it around level 20.
Team Liquid needs to make sure they stay neck and neck in experience, and they're about to miss some experience on the top side. Tricked is forcing the fight here. Not wanting to fully engage and get kills, but to stop that experience from being grabbed. It's up there. The wave will hold it. Genji and Gul'dan will be able to go grab it.
Yeah, this is getting close now. And again, Trick didn't need to be in that spot. They made a risky play, and it backfired. But it also shows that Liquid knows how to come back into these games. They know what kind of plays Trick wants to make, and they knew it was risky, and then they moved in and were able to just get 16 as they were starting the fight. And Tyrael, of course, with the Holy Ground, has the perfect tool to steal the boss away, and that's exactly what he did. Now the temple is activating at the top, and look at the experience situation. This is the dream for Tricked Esports now. And they play this perfectly. They take the camp, and they have catapults pushing. So the bot lane is heavily pushing, and Liquid is most likely going to give the top up. It's very unlikely that they can make a big play here, because they need to react to the bottom pressure. They don't have 20 either. The Storm talent advantage plus the bottom lane pushing should give Tricked Esports control of the top temple, which will result in the top keep falling and the mid keep taking severe damage.
Does Team Liquid just grab boss here? It's about to spawn here. Couple of seconds. 13 it looks like. They can get 20. And they're poised around the area. ETC spots 3 people on the top side for Tricked Esports. He's able to disengage, but that keep is taking damage in the middle.
Yeah, the question is if they lose all 3 keeps, and they will they? If they poke a little bit with Li Ming, they're actually starting to pressure the core because they don't want the boss to be taken. Muradin is back up at the top. Trick needs to be careful here. I am not sure what there's the Divine Shield, that's great. Muradin should just, at this point, take the top temple. I don't know why he's always moving forward. They sacrifice Alex, which is fine. So they get all 3 keeps, that's big, but now the boss is open. So the situation was as follows. Trick knew that Liquid was looking at the boss and that they were around. So their thought process was pressure the top lane, fake core, and once Liquid goes back, move out. But they stayed a bit too long and they opened up an opportunity for Horrify to be used. And that's why they lost now Alex. But they still get the boss. Problem, of course, is that you are still missing 3 keeps here. And we are 20 minutes in the game. These catapults hurt. And there's already some pressure play, but they are getting poked. And the idea, the thought process is the same. Fake top, go for core, try and force Team Liquid to not take the boss, but Team Liquid is already in a position where they have taken it. Now, in an ideal world, Trick would fake top again, make sure that nobody pushes with the boss to make it easier and defend, but this is really starting to play a pretty dangerous game that they do here. They have 3 keeps taken down, but they can't afford stagger deaths, and they also can't afford Team Liquid to be in a position where they can end with this.
Team Liquid to group him a little bit here on top of the keep. They would love to get this keep, at least get some catapult pressure on that bottom side. Gul'dan's gonna come join in as well. HGC can handle the 3 waves pushing in with that Echo Pedal.
They would love to end here. Liquid would love to end, and I think they feel they have to. I think they have to. If you don't end here, you're gonna lose in the long run, unless Trick makes a colossal mistake. So that's why they're going in right now. The boss is about to fall, but keep in mind, they have Tyrael. That's a good stun, and it's a good one. They're moving in. Liquid feels forced to go for a game. Here comes the Sanctification. Are they gonna fall? Yes or no? Hazorbs is low. They barely save him. How the hell did they do that? Gul'dan
30.
Down 30% on the core. They're going down to 20. Eternal is gonna explode. Eternal still has the explosion. Eternal could still end this, but no, it's not enough. 5% is all he gets. 5%, 6. This has to be it. Catapults are pushing. Team Liquid, it was their only chance. They knew it. With 3 keeps down and no structures left, a single temple is going to eliminate you, especially if you're already sitting at 90%. They had to go for the call with a boss, and they went for it. Tricked 7% on the core. Way too close for comfort. Finally is able to clutch out a game here after they looked strong in game 1 and 2. Lost both of them to Team Liquid in the late game. But in game 3, they finally turned it around on Team Liquid's map choice. They take Sky Temple and force Team Liquid into game number 4.
And we have a